You've been a big advocate for more teams playing Veto. What do you think teams are missing, and do you think he'll be a bigger part of VCT 2026?
I think it'll be a bigger part than right now because, again, no one's really showed that they've had the Veto fundamentals to play the game. Like,
what's up, y'all? My name is Andre Hopkins, also known as Entree Interview, and today I had the honor and privilege to interview ShyoWager, VCT caster and analyst, and former Fortnite caster, about his time in casting, his time casting Valorant, and his outlook for the 2026 season and what he thinks the meta will turn into. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, Shyo, how are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to get this done. I'm excited.
Same, man. Same. Love doing this stuff. Rarely do it, but it's nice to like get offered. So thank you.
Yeah,
man. Thank you.
It's fun. I get to get and talk to people who don't usually get the chance to, just talk about their careers, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for letting me do this. So,
thank you, bro. Thank you.
First question: how long have you been in the esports industry, and what are all the roles you've done in front of the camera, behind the camera?
Yeah, for sure. Official esports industry would probably be like what? We're talking like actually having it as a stable job and whatnot. This would probably be, it's 2025, like since 2018. So like it's been 7 years, 6-7 years. And then we've got like actually competing and being like inside the esports like bubble itself. I've been playing like competitive game battles, if that counts, since like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2-ish. So back in 2009. So it's been like a while that I've been like a behind the scenes player wanting to do better. I think before that, fighting games just a little bit when it came to Smash, and then ever since then, man, I can run you through like the small story if you want.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I'm here to listen.
So we played some GBs in COD, loved FPSs. SND was my favorite, but the kids loved kids loved pubs back in the day, right? But SND was like which turned into like, I discovered what Counter-Strike was a little bit later, but that was like a mode that just like I loved a lot because what you did mattered, like inside, getting a kill and whatnot, no respawns, blah, blah, blah. From there, like tried out League of Legends because free to play game. We're in high school, like, economy type stuff.
Doing anything you can to play.
And that was fun. I was like pretty dog at it. From there to like played CS a lot more and started playing CS more than anything. Hearthstone as well was like a part of my daily routine in terms of the 3-game trifecta. But eventually once I hit college, when I started taking it even more seriously, I was like very kind of YouTube-y pilled back in the day, trying to make videos and like walkthroughs. I have like used to have the most popular Assassin's Creed Brotherhood walkthrough, and I recorded it on like a little bit of a flip back in the day camera, like no Elgato, no Dazzle back in the day either.
Yeah.
And it was on a tripod that was crooked. So like, it was we've been here for a while when it comes to like creation and esports and whatnot. So Fortnite was like the first official like paying type of gig. I did do a lot of collegiate in college, which was like Heroes of the Storm. I did some local league stuff myself in my city, and then Counter-Strike and Overwatch were the two other things I played in college as well throughout the years. But yeah, Fortnite is when I started to stream a lot more, and that got like big on stream. Epic like used to watch some people from Epic used to watch the streams, like the analysis and whatnot. I talked to Bala a bit because he got pulled up like moments before me, and then he said keep chasing it. And then at week 10 of the World Cup is when they pulled me up, casted that. Discovered what casting was from like, the technical sides of it, because I was always interested in it, like since the league days, watching like Freak, Riv, who like Riv I'm working with now, which is sick, like in terms of, hanging out with us, surreal still. And then when Valorant came out, like after casting Fortnite for a while, hosting, analyzing, doing a bunch of like side games too, learning all the ups and downs, the gigs and whatnot, really wanted to cast Valorant as well.
That went off.
You're chilling. But like we just, bills, whatnot, all that stuff. We're staying in Fort for a little bit. Tried to compete in Val in the very early days. That was really fun, like IGLing, finding a team and whatnot. But then yeah, stayed in tier 2, stayed kind of outside the bubble, like doing my own thing. But then the last year I've tried to really make the transition over to becoming more endemic within the esport. And that's been a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty long history. You've been all around the place.
Yeah.
Left and right, all the different games. I think the story of recording on the crooked tripod is hilarious, though. Just a little bit off-center recording of a game is pretty funny to me. So you said you used to cast in Fortnite. How would you say that's different from casting and analyzing Valorant from Fortnite?
Oh, dude, Fortnite, like the biggest difference I tell people is that you have to prep for like 2 teams, way well in advance for Valorant. You have like story meetings with that too. You can reach out to people, interview people, see what's up. The stakes. When you go to Fortnite, like for me, it's like hard mode. And like, I think I talked to Bala about this a little bit too, like while we were casting too, but you don't know who you're casting. Like it's as as big of stakes, if not bigger, most of the time, match to match, when it comes to like the teams you're playing against. Like every match that we cast like on camera is usually playoffs level, right? They don't really broadcast anything below that as much, and if you do, it's like just a fun broadcast. But the stuff that matters, it's like you amplify, like, you know, you got phase, or not even phase nowadays. You have like Sentinel versus G2, right? Like, and that's a really fun match to watch for Americas.
What is going on with my camera right now?
You're chilling. Then you switch that up to I got you. I can wait if you want.
Yeah, here, let me see if I can figure this out. All right, there we go. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, for the question of like how does Fortnite casting differ for Valorant? It's like for Val, you're prepping for like that one match between 10 players, coaches, and like the players might have gone on different teams in the past. In Fortnite, it's like take Sen G2, and that's like one fight on the map. And there's like 10 POIs, and then there's people not even landing at POIs. So you have to prep for like the Sen G2 thing 9 times, right? If you really want to be good at your job, because you could not do this and just vibe and like just do the play-by-play the entire time and not really get in depth with it. But if you want to know things, you have to be like prepping 10x for like the one match that happens, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You cast for longer as well, because like a BO3, like for attack FPS like Valorant, is like maybe an hour and a half. If it goes like 3 maps overtime, like then you're like, you know, you're in there for 2-3 hours. But this thing is like you're guaranteed casting six games no matter what. So you're going the distance as a caster. And that's only if you're doing one block in the day. But the prep it takes to like prep for that lobby, and then a lot of the times, you know, the lobby list a day before. So like you have to be doing predictive preparation. And then on top of all that, like random people end up entering at the end that you don't know about at all. So like you are trying to keep up with all of that. So like as a caster, there's like an insane amount of prep if you want to do it, because I know like over there, maybe not right now, but in general, I've seen people not do a lot of this and still, you know, do a good job or do whatever job they want to do. But for me, like for us back in the day, that was the prep. Like you're prepping for all those teams, where they're going, what the potential is, and then you're locked in. And that, I think that's the biggest difference, is that because of that, you have a lot of room for finding cool niche twists and creativity in when you're casting Valorant. Like you can do a lot with the little you have. And in Fortnite, the more you do, like the more you prep for, there's so much to prep for. Like you can do it all beforehand, and then your creativity doesn't have to be on point like as you're casting as much. The more prep you do, I feel like the better off you are. In Fortnite, it's more about execution, whereas for Valorant, you're like creatively executing the entire time while you cast.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, because you're casting Fortnite, there's 100 different players. You study a few people, and then someone you've never heard of wins, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know, not to downplay anybody, but yeah. But you're like, oh, yeah, this person won. So now it's like I went through the gauntlet for a few years learning how to do all that, right? Like getting it up to that level to where, like, again, you don't have to do it, but if you do, like doing it well, to where you go into like attack FPS and it's like, 10 players. You're like, holy shit, that's it? That's all I gotta do? You're paying me the same? You're paying me more? That's crazy. I'm down. Let's tap in. Yeah. Okay, that definitely makes sense. You can be known for your more off-the-wall controversial takes. Do you have a favorite one you've made or one you think aged the best?
Team Liquid, man. Team Liquid way back last year. I think around this time, maybe it's a 7-day anniversary, or in 7 days, it's the anniversary of it. I have it pinned on my fridge, the entire clip itself, Hogwarts, to like moving picture style. But I like that take a lot, because like it showed me that this is the industry, or like this is the game that I want to work in. Because the thing with Fortnite is you could make the most, like you could paint the Mona Lisa in Fortnite and have it as a video time lapse. Like it could have 3 billion views, like the most viewed video ever, and the first 10 million comments are asking for V-Bucks. Like the everything has nothing to do with the video. It has nothing to do with what you do. People arguing about recent drama. But the coolest thing for Val is like you say anything and it's being dissected by like 6 kids in India. There's like a guy who's awake in Japan who just woke up and heard what you said, has something to say about it. And people like to disagree, or they like people are hearing you, which is the dopest thing. So like I had everything sectioned out with like the EMEA stuff, right? Way back in the day, like looking at every single team. And Liquid just looked like a really good team to me, like in terms of player history and like roster, and they made the least changes. I'm like, coming into things, I'm thinking from a Fortnite perspective, right? Like it's a team that's playing inside this match, and they have if there's 10 teams all playing together on one map, like it was all of EMEA, and one team made the least changes, and we're looking at the team that's going to be the most consistent. It's in Fortnite usually that team. And for Val, like I looked at Nats, I'm like, this guy won a champions, and like these guys are putting him in like bottom 5. Like what's going on here? Like this has to mean something if I look at his stats and he's still playing the way he is. And then everybody was like against it 24/7. Everyone was like, whoa, how the hell could you say that? I haven't seen the games, maybe that's why. And then it was cool to see that it actually translated. Like the timeline of TL like did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't lie. I was one of those people who I made it hear this before the season. I had Liquid at like 11. So
Yeah.
I was wrong. I can admit it.
Yeah.
I was very wrong. I'm a big fan of your, what did you call it? MI Believer take, where
Yeah.
you had MIBR. Was it going all the way when the whole champs? Or was it just making
It might have been like winning champs. I think I jumped off like the loud submarine at some point and like jumped over to MIBR, but I really like Cortezia specifically in that team, in that roster this last year. It wasn't even the Ospas show for me. Ospas, I think, is a very solid duelist, a very, very good player, one of the GOATs. But for me this year, like, I think Cortezia was just popping off like crazy. Like, the timings he was taking, the way he was just abusing the Sentinel role was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, because I'm a huge NRG fan. So before we signed Kiko, I wanted to go get Cortezia. When he left MIBR, I was like, oh, I'm a huge fan. You know, with the comms, you see how invested he gets in the games. He's the hype guy, and he's really good. So, I mean, you get the best of both worlds with that kind of thing. Before you cast, do you have a routine, or do you just every day is different?
No, for me, it's my routine is like consuming media. So like my job usually as a caster is play-by-play. I've switched over to color a little bit too. If it's color, like I'll show you the two sides of the mirror, but like color, it's very similar to what I explained before. Prep, like wordplay, dip into it just a little bit. Like, do I have any fun lines I've thought about like over the last year? I have like a little book where I write everything down sometimes too, if it's a good thing I want to say in a future cast. But that's a lot more prep heavy. Play-by-play is more fun for me, and I've been honing it more for like a lot of years, but I just like to consume media. So it's like, and what I'm consuming goes through in cast. So like if I'm watching Godzilla one week, like, you know, we're getting bestial call outs, like it's these guys are getting trampled on, things like that. You won't hear that if I was watching Blade Runner, where it's more like kids are bleeding out, like, you know, does this guy even know who he is? Looks like a clone. Like we'll use like words like replicant instead, but like if for casting, for me, the prep is always at keeping my mind like word ready, but not being like a literature buff in the same sense of like I'm reading books. I'm more so consuming as many things as I can, trying to like ebb and flow them through the cast. And then for technical prep, I, no matter what, listen to a lot of rap and like just regurgitate it. So Kendrick, for me, like at the height of my career where I feel like I was doing the best work, I was going through a lot of his alliterations because I tried to think about it like I love VOD reviewing. I'm like Deku, but like in real life when it comes to whatever I do. Shout out Finale today, by the way, for my hero. I was thinking, who else talks really fast and that's their job, they get paid for it, and the better they do it, the better it sounds. And it was rappers. And like, I didn't want to be, you know, weird beard Eminem guy all the time because I listened to him a lot back in the day. Kendrick was doing it in a really good way where he likes to speed up and slow down. How does that sound? How does he do it with the words he uses? Syllable usage. So I just tapped in with that a lot, and it helped out a lot too when casting.
That makes a lot of sense, you know, because I was going to bring up, I'm a big rap fan, also I'm a huge Kendrick fan. He's been my top artist for forever. That the more media you consume, the more you can understand, like the references in music. So that makes sense that you could use these same references in media, like the Godzilla you brought up, trampling people, stuff like that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never really thought about it like that. It's a very creative way to go about it.
Yeah.
Do you have favorite casting partner or partners you've ever been with?
Yeah. Of course, Bala's like one of them, like in the top two, probably not number two. Like we basically, he was like one of my first casting partners on the day of when I first got the job, like first day. I think I casted with Sundown, who was like an Epic employee before, but also an amazing Fortnite caster. And then my NA East cast was with Bala, and like we were casting, and then suddenly the team was like, "Yep, that's good, we're done." And an hour and a half had passed, and we're like, "Whoa!" Like that felt really good, and it felt timeless. That was sick. We agreed to be a duo. We did like amazing things at Anaheim where like we made our own broadcast for when Fortnite wasn't casting. And then past that, after him, there was Levin 2K, who's like a big force in Fortnite now. Like he's basically the face of like Fortnite competitive when it comes to like the broadcast talent. Me and him learned a lot from each other as well. Top two there for casting. Valorant as well. Bala's up there. I casted with Mimi a lot. It's so much fun casting with Mimi. She's really good at what she does too. And then outside of that, Mark Wong as well, or Mark's Wong, who like casts a bit of tier 2 stuff. I had fun casting with them. Ash as well. But the main two I've had, like the two solidified duos for a long time, have been Bala and Levin. And then when Bala also left, there was a guy called Sancho West, and I was ShyoWager, so we're like SW squared. He taught me how to color a lot. I taught him a lot about play as well. My cool thing is they can slot me with like anyone, and like I'll have a really fun time just learning a new thing. If there's an opportunity to learn, I'm casting it's goated. But top two would probably be like Bala and Levin. They'd be the top two. Yeah.
I remember when Bala stepped back from esports, he was one of the first people I really like learned about. I started watching Plat Chat Valorant pretty early because I came from Overwatch. I was watching Plat Chat Overwatch with Sideshow Bren, And so when I learned about Bala, I was like, this guy's really funny. And then he announced he was stepping back, and I was like, no, I love this guy. You can't leave. I've always been a big fan of his casting also. What is a tip you have for aspiring analysts, casters? Any tips you can give to people?
Yeah, just do. Like, networking is a huge thing that helps as well, but whatever you're doing, just do it. Like, it's the biggest problem I have right now as well. I want to be at the Sliggy levels. I want to be 10s. I want to be better than Tariq right now. And I know how to get there, right? I have the plan, as many people watching who probably are theorizing the same things do. But the difference is in doing. Like, the biggest wake-up call for me too was like going to some of these events as like, you know, it might not be Valorant, but if I'm casting Night Rain or if I'm casting like another games event and I'm meeting creators, I'm realizing that like, I feel like, you know, I could do what these guys are doing. What's the biggest difference between us? Why am I, you know, in front of the camera, they're behind it? They've just done for years. And I do too in the casting role, but there's some creators who just get to cast as well, right? They get to host their own stuff. They get to do their own thing. If you want to be an analyst, if you want to be like on plat chat, you want to be doing your thing, you've got to be credible a little bit. You got to have some work done. So the entire idea is just whatever idea you have, just do it. Like, ask around if you need help with it. Someone will say yes. Fake it till you make it. Like, make it scuffed as well. Like, I have a casting reel where like I wanted desk coverage and I just pretended to be Mimi and GB. I put like a bald cap on and I put a towel over my head for Mimi, and we just green screen the whole thing. Like, just do. The difference is on like, there's two guys not doing anything, and there's a guy who's worse at them than the actual thing, but is doing it twice as hard, and he gets the job. That's just how it works.
Definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, when I tried to get into this whole journalism thing, the hardest part was just like, where do I start? So I just started cold sending emails, DMs. Yeah. Somebody will respond. I mean, hey, that's why we're here today right now.
That's why we're here.
Just figured I'd send it out, and hey. Okay, you're moving to the VCT side of things. Do you have a favorite game in VCT history?
Favorite game in VCT history for me is probably going to be a tie between favorite map specifically within the game, because I have to watch all of it right now still. The Fnatic Loud comeback on Icebox was sick. I'm rewatching, like, I have like a project rewatch going on right now because I really just tapped in 25 in terms of watching the games. I've tapped in with the meta and like just dribbling here and there with some of the pro games, but I really liked some of Gambit's games as well, way back in the day. Against Ascend it was sick in terms of like, I think it was one of the finals. My favorite game though, I think of all time, is Apex versus KC this year. Absolute just craziness. Like, genuinely have never seen a game like that in my life. Like, when it comes to just like the comedy that comes from that game. In terms of like intense gameplay, I think the best series of all time, and I think I'm glad that I got to watch it this year, was the G2 versus T1 game 5. Was sick. Everything around that entire series was good too. I need to rewatch it because I forget half the maps, but like the Pearl map specifically was so good too. On the other side of the common things though, Apex KC was just a delight to watch. Everyone was laughing, I think, across the whole world that day, like 10 times more.
I remember the clip where who is it? Is it Sagetsu? Like, no, he's not. He was on the team. Whoever the solo player was goes to shoot the dart, and Pansy just breaks out laughing on Icebox.
Losing her mind.
That's one of the funniest clips I think in Valorant history. I mean, that one is peak. Just everything going wrong, and she just cannot. Yeah, that one's hilarious. I also, I'm a big fan of the comeback on for between Loud and Fnatic.
Yeah.
I also love the Boom versus Nongshim Ascension game from last year's Ascension.
Oh, nice.
That's my personal favorite. That game was the 18-16, what, 0.03?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was sick.
That was crazy. You've been a big advocate for more teams playing Veto. What do you think teams are missing, and do you think he'll be a bigger part of VCT 2026?
I think it'll be a bigger part than right now, because again, no one's really showed that they've had the Veto fundamentals to play the game. Like, the biggest thing with Veto is that he kind of changes the rules of how your team plays, but he gives you a lot of benefits, and a lot of those rule changes are kind of nerfs to your team. So Veto setups, in my opinion, the best ones start 2 seconds into the round. That means your IGL has to be ready with a strat like as the round is ending, for like what he wants to call, for the Veto to be able to go to specific places to get like the most value out of his kit. He takes a lot of prep time to like set everything up properly, like going on distance around the map. Like, you can't be more efficient on it unless they up the game speed on how people run. That's one of the biggest parts as to why I think he's not getting picked, if you want the full value from him. And like what teams can be doing, like to maybe play him more or something, or understand him better, it's just getting like an understanding of the fundamentals. Like, yes, he has a teleport, but no, he's not chamber. Like, yes, he can cheat space, but no, he's not Waylay, he's not Jet. Like, I think the biggest benefit Veto has like to the game is that he gives you such an advantage in rounds, the same advantage you would have if you won pistol and you had the economy advantage. Like he doesn't let, on average, Asians get like 2 ults a half, right? Maybe 1. That means Veto gets 2 rounds or 1 round where he makes the entire defense side of the game unfair. Like to where you can't use utility on either site because he has an interceptor on one and he's ulting on the other to play the game normally. Like if I told you there was an agent right now in the game that just gave you an advantage automatically no matter what, like for 2 rounds, like it was a pistol round differential, you'd be like, why are we not slotting him into every single comp? You know, I think that's how much of a change it is, but it's not on the level of Tejo where you give baby an iPad and he clicks the bomb. You know, like that's the issue, is that you have to fundamentally change a lot with how Veto is being played. He's a frag heavy like character as well, so you could have all this prep time going, you could be the best player in the world, have an off day, and Veto looks like shit. Like there's times where you need to get the 3K, you're setting yourself up to get 2Ks, you need to frag. And I think that's one of the other issues as to why, you know, he's not as prevalent inside comps right now. But I feel like he offers a lot in the default as well. Like if you're not getting him all the way up to max efficiency, he can do so much. We just have to see what's going down. I think maybe it wasn't Bala, it might have been Doug or Josh might have put it best, where he's a very annoying agent to where sometimes enemy team picks like Sage, Sova, and like a bunch of projectile-based characters. You have Veto, you feel like you're a millionaire. And then the next game you're up against like Breach and like 3 duelists, and you're like, wait a minute, this character sucks. Like, what am I supposed to do? So if it was like League and you got to see who's picking what, a Veto would be nuts as a counter pick, right? Like, or a first ban all the time. But in blind, I can see why some teams might be straying away from him. I still think with these alt rounds and whatnot, like where you just have that much of an innate advantage, he on setup, which these teams have so much time to do, their pro teams with coaches and like entire staffs, there's a way to figure him out.
Yeah, because when I play ranked, I mean, admittedly I'm gold too, but when I queue split, I insta pick Veto because so many people pick Sage in ranked especially, so you can just counter the entire wall. Entire wall's gone because of the interceptor. It's ridiculous. Do you think there's any teams who could unlock the full potential of Veto that you can just think of off the top?
Yeah, it would be like you have to look at the player first, and then you can see the team itself, right? I feel like if you're playing like a team that's very slow as well and wants like the biggest use case of using interceptor early and then using it later, Fnatic is one of them, and you got Alpha, who's like a player I think would love someone like Veto. I think everyone's been looking at Alpha for that as well. Vitality, with how Yompi likes to call with a bunch of utility and, you know, looking at the way util is, Veto might be good there, but like, do you want to lock Kron into that? Like, is Kron someone who wants to play Veto, or is he just better if you just put him on Viper and say what that is like? You could look at a team like Mates picking up Veto as well. West Side, if he wants to get off of on Giants, if he wants to get off of Cypher, try out Veto. I think Benji could be a good shout on EMEA as well. On the NA side of things, like I always get confused as to who's playing Senti and Sentinel. Half the time I think it's John, but I think it's Cortesia playing Sentinels now, or Senti on Sentinels. They could pick it up with their like slower and more methodical approach of what to do. Genuinely, I think number 1 player is Alpha, but you just have to look for like the methodical player that wants to change their fundamentals. I don't think someone like Scuba is going to be changing up to play Veto. Like, stick on Vise, be like a cog in what is the best clock in the world, telling time perfectly, like in terms of NRG. But if there's another person that's trying to switch things up entirely and you want to focus more on how Veto supplies the team, that could be a wave.
Yeah, I agree, because the first team I think of is Fnatic. I mean, a caller like Boaster, players like Alpha, they could just figure that out, I feel like, and just immediately run with it pretty easily, be pretty dominant. I think, I could be wrong, but I feel like he would be a great character for underdog teams trying to cause a big upset. Pulling out the Veto, a higher level team isn't ready for it, and they have setups, and there you go.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah, who do you think will be the dark horse team of VCT 2026?
Dark horse to 2026, they already made a bit, but I'm always a DRG believer. I think JDG as well has got some crazy kind of upgrades right now. Jay Kuro might still be on that team, I kind of forget, but they've done some roster changes to only elevate themselves. There's a bunch of Chinese teams I feel like this year that'll get up through their own bracket. I'm not sure what the international display will look like, but they're going to be popping off. In terms of NA, I have a feeling that C9 actually does a lot better than people expect. I feel like the Nepo team vibes of like everybody being on the same page, everybody being where they're supposed to be now, actually does much better for them than what people expect. I feel like there's more than just 4 amazing teams or 5, teams in contention. A lot of Americas is up there, and then for EMEA, it's tough to say. It's so top heavy, but maybe the new BBL roster, which just wants to shoot, takes over Foot's like Turkish legacy and just stays on top. Maybe shooting is what matters inside the game after all. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not a dark horse anymore because they won something. My shout before was Lev with that new roster, but then they just went and won a tournament. So I guess there's not really a dark horse anymore. I also love the team's secret roster. I feel like they won't like go win a tournament. I could be wrong, but I just kind of like they signed 10-10. They signed Berserks from Boom last year. I'd like what they got going there. I mean, they lost Envy, which is not good, but you gotta do what you can to replace them, right?
Yeah, GE also is a good shout. It might be a team. Yeah.
I said GE last year, and then I didn't. But this year, they're gonna win. I believe. I won't be wrong again. If I just say it them every year, I'll be right eventually. Do you have a favorite signing from Tier 2 to VCT this year?
Favorite signing from Tier 2 to VCT is 100% Mata. If it comes down to this year specifically, I'm not sure entirely if there's like a Tier 2 signing I like the most. I love the Kiko change in terms of like my favorite roster switch, but my favorite Tier 2 signing to Tier 1 so far, if it's 25, had to have been Mata. I got to do like one of his last interviews, I guess, in Tier 2 as well, like inside the summer, where he was playing like some Toronto tournament, like I think one of the Bell Esports challenges. And like we just talked about like, you know, his approach to the game, his approach to like leadership, even though he might not be the IGL, like being the like one of the most tenured players on his team at the time, that he was just, you know, ragtag individuals signed up for like a local tournament. How does he approach like, you know, the game itself? And that turned into him playing like all 5 duelists, me coming back with like a repeat question for him on how times have changed since Tier 2. He's just been like a powerhouse the entire time. Like it's crazy that, you know, there's other people who might have been winning Rookie of the Year, but I think Mata is the one that deserved it the most because this guy was just on all cylinders since FNS was on the team and all the way till they went till they won champs. So yeah,
I remember when I saw him at Red Bull Homeground, the play-in tournament, when it was like the C9 Sen playing with Curry. I think he was on Moist Shopify, I think it was at the time. Yeah, and the whole time he's getting the crowd hype, he's standing up, and I was like, this guy is gonna be so good. And then he signed to NRG, who I said before is my favorite team, and I was like, we're up, baby, we're winning champs. A little bit of a roundabout path to get there, but I was gonna ask my follow-up question, your favorite roster move. Do you want to follow up more on the Kiko to NRG move?
Yeah, so like when it comes to Kiko specifically, like I just feel like I fell in love with his playstyle so much more following like TL over the last year. Like he was genuinely like the bright star for me watching the entire time, like in the night sky, which was like sometimes inconsistency on the roster from everyone week to week. But I feel like Kiko popped off every single time. He plays controller in like one of the most aggressive ways. I'm rewatching Val right now, but he's reminding me of like when Tens like swapped over to Omen as well and like started to disrespect the role a little bit. The things that Forsaken does as well, and like disrespecting where you're supposed to be just because you have that talent with your aim. It's so much fun to watch him in that sense. He gets let loose on Raze in half the time as well. So when it comes to like flexing on this team, like the opportunities Energy have with like getting that person in there is going to be sick. And then more leadership goes towards Ethan as well because Sam's not there to carry that torch as much. The question is, can Kiko fill that role as well? He's just a really aggressive, dope player on a role where like that shouldn't really exist. And he consistently continues to carry teams. And now I have like Mata and Kiko, 2 of like my favorite players in different eras, like playing on the same roster. So it's like, this is sick. Like I actually love this. Yeah, because
he was the highest rated player for them in EMEA. I mean, in stage 1, right? Like, just completely dominant. Off. Like could not stop him. Raid boss. He walks onto the site, and you know it's about to go down when Kiko shows up.
Yeah.
For my last question, do you have a favorite underdog run? A team that no one thought was going to do anything, and then ended up going far, winning.
Yeah, let me like double think for it. For me, honestly, it was DRG. Like DRG pushing forward all the way last year, being able to qual as well. Of course, like we didn't get to see much after the fact. I think this was because like I was starting to watch Party China as one of the ways to like re-answer one of your previous questions. I just wanted to be involved. I did this in Fortnite back in the day as well. Bala had like a lock on North America. There were some people doing stuff in EU. Even over here, like, you know, there's Platchat co-streams for like the most of the international events. There's Sliggy and like everyone's families, moms, dogs, and dads watching like and co-streaming every other region. China had no one. So like I tapped into co-stream China a lot in the mornings, which is where we started building the brand. And in watching, like sometimes I was up with TMV and Sideshow. They had Wolves and Gilai Gaming to support 24/7 when they streamed. And I'm like, I want to have a team if I'm doing this, if I'm in these calls. And so I started to look on it, and I loved Vukashu on DRG. And just seeing things like pop off towards the end where it's like, you know, if DRG qual, they shut down like the fan favorites of Wolves and TMV at the same time. That was a sick storyline to, like, you know, just be against your mates and at the same time like support the team. Unreal team. And just like Nats at Toronto, we'll like never know how the event could have changed if that full roster was there since day one. You know, like it genuinely would have been crazy. But watching that switch up or watching that run just in the Chinese bracket and then them try at least with Demon 1 a lot of the times, they still played the way they played. If Fukashi was there, who would have known? There was a lot of 1v2 clutches. His dish was being served. He just wasn't there to eat it, you know? So
yeah,
it was still nice to see them have their run at champs. That's probably my favorite one. What about you?
I'm a big fan of the what was the one I said before? I mean, there's always the Wolves run in Toronto.
Yeah.
There's T1. I still in Bangkok. They were like what most people had them like the last place team, and then they actually went on the huge run. Zeta 2022, the first huge one.
Yep.
I think my personal favorite though is probably the Zeta run. I mean, I've gone back and watched it. I wasn't in the scene at the time, but just hearing about it, I was like, I gotta go see this, you know? Because, and I mean, when are you going to be watching that one? I mean, you're
I've never seen the Zeta run. I've heard about it so much, but that's probably coming up within the next week or so, like week or two. People have been yapping about the Zeta run like crazy. So they're like, you have to watch this run. You have to watch it. I'm like, all right, I got you. The only like the true runs I'm familiar with, is the T1 and the EG run are like the two ones that like I'm really familiar with. So I know Crew went on a run. We saw a little bit of it like in Berlin now. And they were looking good and then, you know, lost at the end of the day. So close though. Like it could have been a Crew final instead of a Gambit final. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, when did the Zeta run happen? What tournament was it in?
I think it was 2022, but I can't remember exactly what tournament.
It's coming up then. I mean, we're about to jump in on 22, so.
Also, this my favorite tournament ever, though. The first one I ever watched, Copenhagen 2022. You'll be coming up on that one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Paper X versus...
I was there for 22.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because where are you currently at for the rewatch? Do you know?
I have Berlin's grand finals to watch, and then we're tapping in with everything else, So Berlin Champs grand finals, and then whatever happened after the first Masters. I'm just doing the internationals. Unless there's like really good regional games to watch. Yeah. And then we're sifting from there. So yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that's all I got for you today. Do you have anything? Nice. Do you want to plug the rewatch streams? Any social medias?
ShyoWager on everything. ShyoWager games as well. We have a second channel for like everything not Valorant, which is fun. But I hope that people who are watching right now don't even sub to me, but make their own channels too. To be in my position, your position, whatever they're striving to be with. Hit that shit up, man. Just get the work done. Yeah.
That's the hard part, is starting. Once you start though, you get going, then it feels good. Do you upload the rematch games on your second channel?
Like the actual like soccer rematch?
Yeah.
I should. I need to cut some down. I need to get more active on uploads. This is me talking to myself as well. I gotta work, but it's hey, if you want it, absolutely. Just stay tuned this week. We'll get some rematch uploads.
I'd love to see that, because just trolling Sideshow TMV, always a great time, especially in a game like that. But yeah, when are you going to be rewatching? When are you going to be starting to rewatch the game?
Yeah, so we're doing it every day in the morning, and if not at night, maybe there's a day break on it. But if you literally just follow the Twitch, I will be live at some point in the day. There's a YouTube VOD of it as well. We just hit up every single day. We're trying to have like a little bit of a vacation at the end of December, but all the way till matches start in January, we're going to be watching some form of Valorant on stream. So
all right, perfect. Sounds good. Excited to tune in. I'll be there.
I got you, brother. Thank you so much for the interview.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much for being here.
Got you.
All right, have a good day. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave constructive criticism in the comments. I always look through everything. It's always appreciated. Make sure to check out Shyo at ShyoWager on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. He's doing the restreams where he's streaming all the old VCT events from Masters 2021, Copenhagen, from Reykjavik. So make sure to go check those out. Those are all going to be great. Make sure to check me out on YouTube, Twitter, Discord under Entree Interview. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time.